Hello again, it's your friendly neighborhood Jameser man. Today on episode 2, I'm going to be talking to John Wood, the owner of Oasis Recovery Center here in Asheville, North Carolina. He has an amazing story of recovery. It's a huge success story. The man is doing very well. Also, I learned some valuable lessons about this room. You can't film in here before noon or there's this crazy sunspot, so I'm sorry, you're going to have to get over it. It is episode 2. I'll figure this out eventually. Just suspend your disbelief and listen to this amazing story of recovery. Okay, so tell me about what's your, because this is an important segment in the
it is.
show.
I wish I still had my can. It's like a fine wine. It's the fine wine of recovery right here.
You know what I'm going to do?
That was blueberry.
Because we recycled the can, which is very...
You want to pop that on
I'm
here?
going to do it. I'm going to edit it under there.
He has blueberry and agave. Great. So those are the 2 cans he's offering. But yeah.
I'm drinking Focus Aid.
Right.
It's great.
Which is phenomenal.
It's got nootropics, alpha GPC, B complex, American ginseng, and acetyl L-carnitine, which means nothing to me other than it's great.
And it makes you feel good.
Yeah, I gave it to a friend of mine. And I was like, I'm not
going
to lie to you, don't really like the way it tastes very much, but it really like kind of makes me super sharp and cognizant. So, all right, look at us. Drinking our caffeinated beverages.
Yeah.
And trying to get more focused. So, dude, what was your journey into recovery like?
The question's challenging, right? Because when I think about it today, there's been so many different segments. So like going into the first segment, going into recovery, at the age of 22, just coming out of serious addiction, at that point I was doing Oxycontin. So I was doing about 10 80s a day. And even to back it up further from that, like coming out of high school, good grades, played golf, played basketball, drank, smoked weed, never really affected me.
Right.
Went to a graduation party a couple weeks out of high school where we were getting very fucked up, Molly, everything else. And, I'm the one that's like, I can drive, I got this. As we pull up to the house, there's like cop cars and everything parked out front. That incident on that one night landed me 6 months in jail.
Wow.
So instead of like going to college, doing my thing, following my passions, landed in jail. In jail is where I tried Oxycontin for the first time.
Wow.
I met a gentleman there, Rick, who was in for trafficking Oxycontin.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah, don't want to say his last name. Right. Not that he would see this.
No.
But so we became friends. He's actually a really cool guy.
Yeah.
He had been getting Oxycontin in jail. He never stopped. But then getting out, Rick put this little bug in my ear that I could make good money selling them. So once he got out, we reconnected, started selling Oxycontin along with other things. And, it just became progressive. I'd do a little bit, a little bit more, until I was hooked.
Yeah.
So that time around, doing about 10 pills a day, but and miserable and sick, and my body was gross. The big thing for me that I always noticed is when I was in active addiction, all my passions were none. Yeah. Like, and I'm so obsessive. Like I have an obsessive personality. So like literally I'd go to bed with this little Oxycontin like floating around in my head. That was the start of that. I got the opportunity to go to a NICE treatment center. Got one chance to go to a NICE treatment center. After that, my family just pretty much said, don't talk to me. So I went to Narconon Vista Bay, 6 months inpatient treatment center. Got sober for the first time. I guess this was around 20. Okay. I was still so uncomfortable with myself. You know what I mean? Like even after 6 months of being fully sober at Narconon, I'm so uncomfortable with myself. And looking back on it now, like I never really built any connections. Right. And that's the most important thing for my sobriety today. But, long story short, coming out of Narconon, ended up working there for a little bit, got what's called gold rotted, because I was hooking up with a female client there. So gold rotted in Narconon words is like nobody can ever talk to me again from there.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, I went from, some sobriety, feeling really good, working out every day. Yep. 2 weeks after that, hooking back up with this guy, getting pills again and starting back over.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was the thought process like should I just go back to my old life? I'm feeling good, but should I just screw it? Like how much do you think about it? That's why I'm curious, like, because it feels like to me when I would have like relapse, it didn't even occur to me that I was a chronic relapser. No. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Over the years, I like get sober for like a couple months and be feeling great and be like, you know what? I'm good. Now I can use again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I did have a stage of that though, later.
Okay.
But no, I mean, this time around being so young, like, it was second nature. I didn't even realize what was going on.
Right.
I think my mom let me do some work at the office she was working at. Stole a little cash from their safe. Took my mom's Lexus to Sacramento and got a pill.
Wow.
Sharing my story, like on that side, it just progressed, continued to get high again, got back to where I was before. And there was a ton of shenanigans too, you know. We'd go to raves, do a bunch of Molly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the pill. It seemed like the pills were like the equalizer. Like I needed those to participate in life, right? But then life was still happening, and life was a party. At some point, I got down to Arizona State. Hung out down there for about 3 years. 3 years of partying, hanging out with different people.
Yeah.
Wrong areas. I ended up getting jumped down in the ghetto of Phoenix, and they took everything I had. So, I mean, they stripped me down to my boxers, pants, shoes, went into my apartment, got everything. And from there, I took a Greyhound up to Seattle where my dad was. My dad wouldn't take me in his house, but someone that worked for him took me in. So I'm detoxing in this dude's house I don't even know. And that process lasted 2 or 3 weeks. Got a job washing cars. Eventually got a job selling cars. You know, I was good at selling cars. Started making good money, doing my thing. And then just the same cycle started again.
Right.
Like, where are the pills? Where's the fun? Where's the party?
Right.
So, you know, at that point, I was a traveling car salesman, new town every week.
Yeah.
And then it was just a new chase every week. Like, what could I find? The weeks where I could find a bunch of shit, I was so much more productive as a car salesman.
Really?
Because I wasn't miserable.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was just going for it.
Right.
I was an absolute disaster.
Right.
I hardly even remembered some of the towns I was in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd sell the shit out of the cars.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew that was my paycheck. And it didn't matter what I got paid, if it was like $1,000 for that week or $5,000 for that week. Come next week, it was gone.
Wow.
I'd find a way.
Yeah.
It just continued kind of this way for a while. Eventually, I called my mom again, asking her for help. At this point, my mom did something super healthy. She was like, fuck off. Like, don't call me anymore.
Wow.
I'm gonna help you get down to Arizona, by getting you a plane ticket, but don't call me.
Yeah.
Down in Prescott, Arizona was the first time I found like connections with guys in recovery.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like, I guess that was the first time ever, to where I felt like, okay, I definitely like sobriety.
Yeah.
Like, I feel clean, feel sober. So yeah, I mean, it was just, the lights came on a little bit. I got into a really good sober living house. They were brutal. You know, at first I had to stay in a tent outside before they voted for me to get in.
Wow.
Yeah. We can't do that anymore.
These kids have it so good.
These kids do have it so good.
Yeah.
No, I had a backpack at the time. I was in shorts, and it was in the winter of Prescott, Arizona, so it was snowing. And these guys in this house, man, helped me piece it all together. You know, and I was persistent. I didn't have transportation, anything like that. The closest thing I could walk to was a grocery store.
Yeah.
So I went there 7 days in a row. Their big thing at this house was you have to have a job in 2 weeks, else you're out. I went there 7 days in a row. You know, every day they told me we don't have anything open. Went on the 8th day, and I'm like, man, I'll do anything. And the guy finally said, okay, you know, we'll give you a job. You can start by washing the toilets. I said, great. You know, when can I start? He's like, why don't you come in tomorrow? I'm like, I'm free now too. You know, so they hired me in. Then from there, like, I worked heavy program in the AA at that time. Like, I was captain AA, sponsoring guys. My whole community was AA. making at least 4 or 5 meetings a week. And it wasn't like a drag. Like, these are my people at that point, you know, super connected with them. And, yeah, and then my life just progressed, man. I met my wife that we're still married today in Prescott. And then just continued to get better jobs. So from there, got my first car, again in sobriety, which was just a really beat down $1,000 car with the bumper hanging off. But it was an Eclipse. You remember those cars?
Yes.
Yeah. So it could have been cool.
Yeah.
But the thing was like...
It had some guts.
Yeah. The thing was like 4-toned.
Okay.
And every time I drove it, I had to fill it up with water, you know?
That's awesome, though. Yeah. It's character building.
It's character building.
You know?
But that's the car. Like, after I got that car, I could get a better job.
Yeah.
Right? So I saved up for that car. And then eventually I got a job at Sears selling appliances.
Right.
And all while, like, I'm working... the only way I know how to work recovery at this time, right? And at this time in my life, the only way I know how to work it was through AA.
Okay.
You know, is all that I found.
Yeah.
The guys were beautiful, for lack of better words. Like,
yeah.
It's almost like in the age group we're in, I still talk to a lot of them today. But the age group that we were in, it's almost like we all felt like we got a second chance to grow up again.
Yeah.
We were just being kids. Did extremely well at Sears selling appliances. So I got a job offer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, like one of their marquee stores. And at this time, you know, Bonnie and I had our first child on the way. So I'm thinking, okay, I got to make some money, you know, so we make that move. And the biggest thing for me in that move is the connections were gone. Like, my hookups with the guys, the community.
Yep.
Stayed in touch with some of them, but it's hard when you leave. Went to a couple meetings in Pittsburgh, and it just didn't feel the same. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I got a little bit of a taste of success for the first time. You know, I was making like, I don't know, $55,000-$60,000 a year at Sears. And for me, that was a ton of money at the time. So I'm thinking, you know, I can have a drink.
Right.
You know, I'm not
even
interested in pills.
Of course.
But I deserve this.
Right.
And I'm a father too.
Oh,
I got things to celebrate. So,
oh my God,
yeah,
that's so insane.
You know
right?
the story from
yeah,
there,
but
bro.
that's so insane, really.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just a spiral. And then eventually I got a job opportunity to come to Asheville. We stayed in Pittsburgh 1 year. Bonnie hated it there. I shouldn't say she hated it, but it wasn't where she wanted to be. She also had no friends. So when I got a job offer here in Asheville, good job offer to work for a wireless internet company that Bonnie's dad owns, we took that move out here and kind of started anew. And then, like, at this point, I was so far removed from, like, recovery and different things. I was seeking community, so I got connected with a different community called the Baha'i Faith. And for a long time, man, that worked. You know what I mean? Like, that was the connection I needed. I was here in Asheville. I got reintegrated with golf, basketball, getting back in the gym. Like, Asheville was healthy for me, you know? But then I went down that same road. Like, did really great at Skyrunner, helped them build the company from something very small to something huge. I got compensated really well along the way. We had another baby. And then, you know, here I am again, like, I have a tiny bit of anxiety, you know. What do normal people do with anxiety? They go to the doctor, right?
Okay.
And they get a little Xanax or a little Valium. So that's how it started, you know. And then
innocuous.
Yeah. Right.
Simple, right?
It's a script.
I mean, it can't be bad for me because the doctor gave it to me.
Yeah, right. And then also I have ADD, right? I have a hard time focusing. So go back to the doctor, get a little Adderall.
Yeah.
You know, so you have those two things going. And I was able to keep it together for a good period of time. But then, you know, eventually it's like, well, I can just order whatever I want online. You know, let's just cut to the chase. So I got hooked back on Roxy's at that point. So then that was kind of my medicine, those three combined. And then it just got terrible. You know, real bad.
Real fast.
And, you know, when you have a family, it's much different. Like, getting into, if you can sustain sobriety as a single individual and then build up your sobriety strong enough and then start a family, that's the way to go.
Right.
Because it's not just you anymore.
No, you're putting your family through it too. Yeah.
Putting everyone through it.
Yeah.
So we had some really good times before the, addiction got too bad. But I mean, long story short, like we had to sell our family house. Family was homeless, Bonnie was able, and this is when I'm getting sober, it's just skipping through a lot of the minutia. Bonnie was able to find a friend that lent us their parents' B&B for a month. And this is where I kicked that. I didn't have any means. Like I had maxed out all my credit cards, $85,000 in debt, having to sell our family house that we built. It was a nice family home. And then stay in this little in-between spot while we put everything in storage. And I kicked, man. I kicked off a similar dose I was taking as a young guy.
Yeah.
I was on, anywhere from 10 to 15 of those Roxy 30s a day. So I got down, I guess, to about 150, 160 pounds. And I just really laid on the couch for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Through this process, Bonnie was kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Handled her shit, bro. I mean, she had a cleaning gig, to keep us afloat, to give us some food. And then somehow she managed to get us into a little 2-bedroom apartment. So we did that, and 2 kids, 2 bedrooms.
Good God, man.
Yeah.
What a fucking saint.
What a saint. I mean, she wanted to leave me for sure.
Right.
Like she had one conversation, and rightfully so.
Right.
I have no moral compass, bro. Like when I'm getting high.
Yeah.
So
no one does.
Yeah, I was not a good partner. You can paint the picture, bro. I mean, it wasn't pretty. I wasn't right to her or the kids.
Right.
So
then, I'm always interested in this, like, because you and I are both chronic relapsers, unbeknownst to us while we're in the flow of sure. Like just re-entering that madness. Mm-hmm. But like, what was different this time around? Like it is really the difference between hitting a rock bottom, or not, right? Because to a certain degree, right? You're like. So. I mean, like you had to sell your home.
How many rock bottoms have you hit, bro?
I know, but and that's the thing.
Because I feel like every time was rock bottom.
Yeah, every time was rock bottom, but the spiritual bottom is the worst one, right? Yeah. Because like you had to sell your family home.
Yeah.
You were basically about to lose your family.
Yeah.
Your wife is talking about, I don't want to be with you anymore, and
that was a guarantee. She was like, right. If you can't get sober, it's over.
Right.
For sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. For me, this last go around, like I had on paper quite a bit more than I've ever had before.
Yeah.
I had a fiance. I had a Netflix show. Yeah. I had a record deal.
Killing it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had all of this stuff, and for some reason my impulse was to drink myself to death over it. You know? And I ended up for the umpteenth time in the fetal position thinking about killing myself. For the umpteenth time. Because that's where it always ends. On a long enough timeline, I have all of the results in. The results are in.
And
on
that's
a long
something
enough timeline.
I omitted. Like every single time, I would go on a hiatus where I drank or used too much and tried to kill myself.
Right.
Every fucking time.
Hiatus.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take a little sabbatical. Yeah. And I can
I'm going to go drive my car off a cliff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then drive to the cliff, but somehow not drive it off.
Yeah, because we don't want to die. And for whatever reason, that's a really powerful realization. Right? Because that's, I think, where it starts. When you get down to the bottom, the very bottom, and you finally make peace with the fact that you have a serious problem, you look at yourself and you go, okay, I'm going to die if I don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. I don't know why that's news to me, but I don't want to die. It was a really powerful realization for me. And that's when it all started, this last go around, And I've been clean for like 3 years now, a little over 3 years. And I just remember, that being a life or death decision finally.
Yeah.
It really clicked for me that this was going to kill me and I was going to die if I didn't stop.
Yeah.
If it didn't kill me, I was going to kill myself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I was open to it. I mean, I actively tried to kill myself a couple times. I mean, one time, super, super lucky, just took a bunch of pills just after my grandmother passed away. And I snuck back into her condo where she stayed, took a bunch of pills, like,
In her
50, 60 pills.
Wow.
And then somehow my mom randomly stopped by. You know what I mean? When I'm blue and foaming out of the mouth. I don't remember any of it.
Wow.
All I remember is waking up in the hospital with the catheter and feeling like they just flushed me with charcoal, because that's what they did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've definitely been suicidal,
Yeah.
for sure. Which is crazy though, right?
Yes.
That's why when I think of it, it's because life's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I love it today. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely been that low, and that's honestly why I love what I do now. Because when I see someone come in and we get to work with them, I've never had judgment on one client that we've had.
Awesome.
Never one time.
Yeah.
And we've had some clients.
Oh yeah. I've been there for some of them.
I know, yeah.
Just for a little backstory, for, if you're confused about our relationship, I worked for John at the recovery center that he started, which is called Oasis. And it's a beautiful recovery center here in Asheville, helping lots of people get clean and sober.
Yep.
Yeah. And when did you start that?
So we got started in 2018 with Oasis Recovery Centers, and it's been a whirlwind ever since, man. And really, like, one of my missions in starting the treatment center was to build a support group for all the staff. Like, make this a place to where the staff could feel connections, like similar to the connections that I felt back when I first got in recovery, right, with this group of guys. And then beyond that, like, we've always had ambition to build a big network. So we definitely are working on building a national brand, continuing to expand. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it worked. Like, our culture is on point.
Yeah.
And my theory on that was, like, if the culture's on point, well, then the clients are going to feel that.
Yeah.
Right. But if the staff's miserable coming to work,
right.
And it's a work in progress, you know what I mean? It's never going to be perfect, but
it was pretty close to perfect, to be honest with you, in a lot of ways.
Appreciate that.
Like, I just loved
it's high burnout though still, and that's some things to look at.
I loved working with the staff there, though. I just I really enjoyed every person that you ended up hiring, like all of those fantastic group of people to be on staff with. And I had not experienced, other than like being, because I've been in a bunch of like plays and musicals and stuff. That's a great camaraderie.
That's an epic culture.
That's
for sure. You guys are all doing your passion.
Yeah, but it felt similar to that. Like, it felt like we were all, I think that we all like had that mission statement firmly in place in our hearts. Like, everybody knew what we're doing is a good thing. Like, we should be here. You know what I mean? Like, it felt right. It was good.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. And okay, so here's the big question that I like to ask. Is what did you fall in love with in new sobriety?
I would say for at least the first 6 to 8 months of my sobriety, part of me felt more connected with source energy, the universe, all this stuff, right? Because you're sober for the first time in a while. But then the other part of me still hated myself.
Yeah.
Like, still miserable.
Yeah.
Very depressed. And I think going through the way I got sober this time was good for me. No support, just straight natural kick. You know what I mean? No vitamins or anything. Just do it. To have that kind of stretched out process was good for me. Things that I've fallen in love with after that initial period, to where you're just kind of like
chin down, swinging.
Yeah. Everything, man. Like, just getting out. First of all, family, right? Spending more time with the kids.
Awesome.
Just got done going to a father-daughter dance with my 10-year-old Haley.
Just recently?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago or something.
Nice.
And it's like, to be able to do these things and feel good about it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, getting the realization back that life is like this magical, infinite thing.
Yeah.
And we're just simply here to be a part of it, to infuse our energy, to help where we can.
To love.
Yeah, and to create, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that's one thing. And then, building the team at Oasis is huge. And how we operate there is great for me, that we're not 12-step based, right? Because this time around, I did get back into NA here. And I would say it helped for a short period of time. but it never really felt like my community.
Okay.
I always kind of felt like an outcast, and maybe it's just I never got connected with the right people. I think in a AA, these things are absolutely essential for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think what they produce is that connection.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that connection is super important.
Yeah.
But what we try to do at Oasis is if that's their connection, get them connected with it. Or if they're going to be more passionate about something else, get them connected with that.
Yeah, give them the options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I availed myself of a 12-step program, and I'm still an active member of it, and I find that completely essential to my recovery.
Love it.
But I love that there's not a one-size-fits-all situation in recovery, that there are options for people. But I would suggest anybody who's newly sobered, like, try all of it. You know what I mean? Try it all and see what's sticking for you, because, you know, it might be a 12-step thing. It might be, you know, we have Recovery Dharma now, which is like a Buddhist thing. We have Smart Recovery.
Smart Recovery.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, like, try to remember what you were passionate about before.
Yeah.
Like, for me, when I think about the different dynamics at work, I have my golf community.
Yep.
I'm huge into golf. I'm sure you have your music community.
Yep.
I have my basketball community as well.
Great.
Pre-COVID, too, I was doing hot yoga 3 times a week. You know, just finding these different little connections, and then showing up authentically, right? So showing up as your real self within these communities.
Yep.
You know, if you're struggling, speak with someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree with you, James. I mean, if you're new into sobriety and you have no options, like I had no options, go to a meeting. Yeah. They're free. Yep. And you know, the connection's there.
Yeah, and it's real, right?
Yeah, it is real. Real
connections. Do you did you get into hot yoga in sobriety? Is that something that you did before?
No, I was in sobriety.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, so you know what
that was a new addition.
Right on. Yeah. And then golf, you had already kind of been into golf before that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing golf since I was 7. Okay. You know, but it's one of those things that just went away. Yeah. You know, completely.
Oh, I know. Trust me, man. Like I used to, when I was in middle school and high school, I wrestled. Yeah. Which is like, you don't really do that very much as an adult, really. You know what I mean? But I got into the martial arts. Like I had done karate when I was real little. Not real little, but like, you know, right before middle school, I think. And then in middle school and high school was wrestling. So I was kind of into the martial arts. Mm-hmm. And my wrestling coach in high school said, you can't do the plays and wrestling. You got to pick next year. Really? Which was a huge bummer. And I was like, well, clearly I'm going to pick acting. You know what I mean? Like it was just so much more... Like if I had to pick one, I was gonna pick performing because it's just in my blood. That's just like what I was born to do, I think. And but him telling me that I couldn't do that anymore was like this weird pivotal like fork in the road. And when I got into sobriety, you know, I'm sober, and I'm like, you know, I really want to get back into martial arts. I want to take Kung Fu. So I started taking Kung Fu.
Is this in Asheville here?
No, this is actually in LA. But there's actually a guy who teaches the form of Kung Fu that I studied in LA here in Asheville. And I'm thinking about like getting back into Kung Fu. Nice, man. But so I started working at this jiu-jitsu gym where I taught this exercise class. This is all stuff that happened in sobriety. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like,
it's my beautiful too.
I know, it's crazy.
Random stuff that happens.
You just say yes.
You have to let it. You have to say yes. You have to let it happen.
You just kind of have to start saying yes to stuff, because I would say no to almost like anything that wasn't. If there wasn't going to be alcohol there, or drugs or something, I probably wasn't going to do it very like without being like I got to go at a certain point. You know what I mean?
It's interesting though, because you were still doing the thing that really feeds your soul. You were still doing music, but you weren't doing like all the little ancillaries, right? That also feed your soul. Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
Well, I mean, you know, I've actually been critiqued on this by a friend of mine who said, like, we went to Burning Man together, and he goes, you know, I feel bad because, like, I just came here as me, and you came here as, like, a musician. Okay. And I was like, you don't understand, like, me playing music is inextricable from who I am at this point. Like, I don't go anywhere as not a musician. That is who I am.
That's kind of beautiful, though, man. Like, I don't know if I have a passion to that extreme. I think the closest thing to it is golf, right? But with me and addiction, like, it just goes away. Yeah. I can't do it. I can't fucking see the ball. It's frustrating. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be very single-minded when you're golfing.
Yeah.
You know? Very like a focused.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like meditating, right?
Yeah.
But I guess music, you can still just shred, because I mean, we see it over and over again, you know.
And you know what, man? And it's such BS too, because I'm such a better musician now than I was.
Guarantee it.
But at the time, I thought that like that stuff was making me better.
Yeah,
because
you had
I
to
was
cut the
so
edge.
I idolized like, you know, like Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix and all these people that sacrificed their mind for their artistry and all of that stuff. Like they were probably this close to being one of us. They were probably this close to like turning the corner and being like, you know what? I'm on some next level shit. I'm gonna get sober now and try music from that angle. And who knows what they would have come up with. That's the thing. It's sad. It like robs us.
Yeah.
The addiction robs us. I mean we just lost someone recently, Ol Harrison.
Yeah.
You know? And he was so young.
That one was tough, man.
This has been the toughest one I've ever experienced.
Yeah, because you had a great relationship with him, but I mean, he just had so much to give to life.
So much potential.
So enjoyable to be around. Confident with himself.
Beautiful too. What a beautiful man.
Beautiful,
gorgeous.
Man. No, but I mean, we lost someone that was, you know, had a huge future. That's all I can say. We don't know what his future would have been. But if you looked at me at his age when he passed away, no one would have knew what my future would have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he had a huge future, and we've lost that to addiction. It's sad, man.
Yeah, and that's happening all the time, you know? I mean, he's like the fifth person, I think, this year, because I didn't work in recovery before I came here and worked for you.
Yeah.
You know, but,
I know you're coming back at some point.
I'm still working for you. You don't know this.
Yeah, so you are.
Yeah, I'm a life coach for
that's right
for you guys.
Yeah.
But this year I've lost. He was like the third person I was like pretty close to.
Yeah.
Of the people that I've lost, but then two people that I wasn't necessarily as close with. They passed away as well, and they were all very young, and it's really tragic every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I just wanted to create this thing so that people can see that they have options. And there's not necessarily like a one size fits all per se. That sobriety doesn't have to suck. I mean, for you, you fell back in love with your family. You got clear-headed. You fell back in love with golf. You started a very successful recovery center that's growing and potentially will be a national brand that's going to help countless people. Even if you help one person in recovery, who knows how many people they're going to help.
And that's our exact thought process, right? Because let's say we get to the point to where we do have 1,000 beds, and we got to make sure it's healthy. It is a business. You have to pay your employees. You have to pay your insurance, your rent. So you can't just build. But if we build healthy, and let's say we get to 1,000 beds, and we have 1,000 clients, and we touch those clients in some sort of way to help them on a new path, then they're going to go back. So we'll essentially have the opportunity to start a movement. Yeah. Right? And keeping the essence of what we currently have as we grow is going to be crucial. Yeah. Because not only are we empowering the staff members that it requires to have that many clients, but then also we're putting these wonderful people back out into society, hopefully, a little bit better than before they came. Yeah. But then at that point, like, they still got to put in the work. Yes. I'm a firm believer that when Harrison came through our program, and towards the end of his stay, he was in very, very good shape. Yep. Probably better than he ever been. Yeah. And I don't know what happened, with that particular example, because on social media, it looked like he was killing it. Yeah. So I didn't even think to reach out to him. Yeah. But social media can be a lie. So. Well,
the other thing is this, like, he... with the opiates and the fentanyl and stuff that's going around right now, it could happen anytime. People are overdosing constantly. Yeah. So you and I both know that when your story highlights this really well. You were doing well. You were killing it, and that's when it was time to like maybe
take a little dab. Yeah.
You take a little dab of fucking fentanyl, your heart might stop. Yeah. And there's a really, really high chance that it will stop.
Yeah, the game's changed, man.
Harrison was the strongest he's ever been in his life, like 3-4 days before he died. Yeah. The day he died, he was probably stronger than he had ever been in his entire life. I saw him beating his PR on the deadlift. He was stronger than he had ever been in his entire life the day he died.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no joke. And like, it's really, really important that people, and one of the things that I want to touch on too, is that you said that first 6-8 months was a struggle,
Big
right?
time.
Okay. So so we know, that's what we're dealing with. Chin down, keep swinging.
Yeah.
It's the fight for your life is really what it is. And I heard someone talk about how, they said, I don't like how people personify addiction and turn it into this, they anthropomorphize it and turn it into a creature that is hell-bent on your destruction. Whether or not it is that, it's very much like that, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
It might as well be that. If
sure.
it's not, it might even be.
It
I don't
might
know.
be. Who knows? Depends on what realm we're talking about.
And ultimately, like, if my mind, and I'm a pretty smart guy, I'm just going to throw that out there, if my mind turns against me, I'm screwed, because this is a pretty powerful tool.
Yeah.
A terrible master and a terrific tool.
Yeah.
But if it turns against me and becomes my master, I'm screwed, because it wants to feel good, prevent itself from feeling pain, and it wants to be famous, and it doesn't care how it gets what it wants. It wants what it wants. And my brain will do nasty, nasty stuff if I don't have a moral compass, if I don't practice a spiritual path, if I don't stay connected to people who are going to keep me accountable. You know what I mean? All of that stuff's really, really essential. And I found all of that in recovery.
Absolutely. And I think now, like, we've both went through these stretches. For me, it's like get sober 3 years, fail, get sober 3 years, fail. Thinking about the first time coming through sobriety, like what we had back then was AA. In that time, we didn't even really have NA, right? So we had AA, and then just connections with your friends and stuff. Now we live in this beautiful time of sobriety to where, if you reach out to the right people, we can get you connected with whatever you want. Like there's so many different modalities to practice. But for me, it's like figuring out who you are at the core and what's going to make you happy. Yeah. And then getting down that path. Yeah. Because the sooner that you get to the things that you're passionate about, the sooner that you're going to start to feel better. Yeah. And you almost don't notice it though, right? It's like you wake up one day, I feel a little bit better. Just continue that grind. Yeah. Until all of a sudden you like go through a week and you're like, man, that whole week I felt good. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you have 2 weeks feel good. But then you have a day you don't feel so good. But then you have 3 weeks you feel good. Yeah. It's just crazy how it all comes together.
I have seasonal depression though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like this winter was like, it was a little sad, but I have the wherewithal in sobriety to know that it's coming and to know that like, oh, it's just that time again. Whereas in the past I'd be like, this is it. This is how I'm going to feel forever. Because I had no clarity.
What part of that do you think is maturity? And what part of that do you think is sobriety?
I think it's probably a healthy mix of both. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting more mature, but I wouldn't have the chance to mature if I died.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
So really, I owe it all to, I owe it all to the community, really, and to my HP.
That's right.
What up, big dog?
Get him. He's got you.
Do you believe in God?
Absolutely. I mean, I would have a hard time putting a definition on God.
Yeah. No, me too. I don't think it's a white guy in the sky.
Guaranteed not.
No.
Well, you can't get.
Might be a black lady.
Yeah. Could be Vern,
I think she's actually.
Yeah, she might be.
God incarnate for sure.
But no, I totally believe in God. And however that looks, I think it's not meant for us to grasp. Yeah. I've explored down multiple pipes. I mentioned the Baha'i Faith. When I was young, I was in, Christian Academy School. And I think, this is my honest opinion. I know we're in the South. I hope I don't make people mad. But I do think that religion in general sometimes gets it wrong. Mm-hmm. I feel like every religion in their own essence is right. Mm-hmm. If they're helping people get connected, helping people feel part of a community. Because I feel like there's a little essence of God in all of us. Yeah. That goes away when we're getting higher using. Yeah. Or at least gets doled out. You know? But I don't know. So yeah, I definitely believe in God. I try to follow all the signs I can get. Me too. Yeah. From the universe and from God.
Yeah. I think a friend of mine once in Los Angeles, we were on a smoke break at work at a restaurant. Very godless setting, it felt like to me. But we were talking about God, and he was like, all rivers lead to the ocean. all rivers lead to the ocean, and that really stuck with me. You know, it really kind of felt true. You know, it felt like I was hearing something important and true. And like you said, like in all of these religions, there's a kernel of truth.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we could stop arguing about what God's name is as if any of us knows for sure, and start going, wait, hold on a second. So God's love for you, okay, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, and like have like a, you know, we call God this. You call God that? Interesting. I mean, it's like, who knows, really? I don't pretend to know, but I do get signs from time to time, and I do have a higher power that I've learned to turn my will over to on a daily basis and say, hey, listen, my way wasn't working. Let's try it a different way.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's beautiful when you get the signs.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is follow.
Yeah.
You got to say yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just smack you right on the head. So,
yeah.
because sometimes you got to say no.
Oh, yeah.
And the sign is to say no.
Right.
You know?
And that's saying no to yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or saying yes to no, rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about, if I say no to this, I'm aligning myself with the truth and beauty and love. So I'm saying yes to all of that by saying no to this thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think it correlates back with the work we do on a daily basis, right? So like you're in AA or NA, right? You practice those principles on a daily basis. I'm not active in those communities, but on a daily basis, when I'm practicing my meditation, when I'm doing my yoga, when I'm following my passions, that's me regenerating my soul, right? So then I feel more connected with my God.
Yeah.
When I'm doing the principles.
Yeah.
That I've kind of put together is what I feel is the best for my sobriety and my connection.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's a good place to leave off. What do you think? One word to the newly sober cat out there who's like, I think this is gonna suck. You know, like what would you say to that person?
Just one word?
No, not one word. Like
okay.
a quick sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, perseverance would be the word, and that you have no clue what your future could be until you start. And from what I've seen from everyone that has got sober around me, it's worth it. You do not have to be miserable anymore. There's always help. So just reach out. I mean, if you're even borderline thinking about getting help, maybe you think your addiction is not that bad. I just guarantee life could be better without substance.
Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Newly Sober. Keep liking and sharing the videos so that maybe we can help each other one day at a time stay newly sober.